in the video. So light yellow, red. So you make a left-hand turn. We have nothing further.
Would you like to enter the photos and video evidence into evidence?
Yes.
Ms. Wayland, do you have any cross-examination for the city?
Yes, what I'd like to understand here is that the photos that we're taking, as you took me stopped at that red light, first I've never had a ticket, I've been driving since I'm 16 and I'll be 63 next week. Never had a ticket or accident at all in my life. I was an insurance agent for 12 years myself, so I'm extra careful about my driving. But as I was approaching that light, it was amber. I had two options, either to get through the light when I looked and it was amber, and step on it to get through the light, which, as he said, was 24 miles an hour, so I wasn't trying to go on it to floor it to risk a high speed to get through it. Or the vehicle, when I looked in my rearview mirror, the vehicle behind me was coming up quite fast. And I had the option of either trying to get through the intersection or risk getting hit in the rear. I've been rear-ended twice because of other people being at fault, either talking on a text phone or whatever they were doing, not paying attention, and getting rear-ended. So I took the risk of going through the intersection instead of taking the risk of getting rear-ended. So I do not feel that I went through a red light. I will say that there's an inconsistency at that particular camera at 38th Street and 38th Avenue and 66th Street. We went up there with a timer, what do you call it, Gary? Stopwatch timer. And that light is inconsistent with going anywhere from 3 seconds from amber to red, from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. We went around to other areas that have the cameras just for timing them, and they are inconsistent. The longest one we've ever found at intersections that we frequent was 4 seconds. And we understand by what was on the news that the state law is supposed to be 6 seconds for that change to go from the amber to the red. So it seems like there's not only an inconsistency of the number of seconds, but the ones we found were not even agreeable to what the state is saying is supposed to be the 6 second law. So I don't feel that I was, I don't think that I was, it was the right for me to get this $158 ticket. Also, I am on disability through Social Security. My income does not allow me to have that kind of money to pay for this kind of a ticket. I live monthly, month to month, by myself. Gary happens to be my boyfriend, but we don't live together. And I live month to month trying to stretch everything out to make ends meet. And I can't afford a $158 ticket. And not just because I can't afford it, but I don't think it was a deserved ticket.
Okay. Would the city like to respond on the amber issue?
Yes, we would. All the yellow lights throughout the city that have cameras, they are different times, they go by the speed limit. So each intersection that is monitored by a camera are different time-wise when it comes to the yellow lights.
Well, I have seen, we've been at that particular intersection on several occasions where there were no turns, there were no traffic moving at any of the 4 lanes north, any of the 4 lanes south, anybody turning either way, turning on red or anything, and the camera will go off. The camera goes off when there's no traffic moving, period, in any of the lanes, any of the intersections, nowhere, and that camera light will go off.
That light that you see gets flashed might be triggered by something other than your vehicle.
Well, all I know is I'm saying that no vehicles are moving at the time, and the camera light will go off. And not only did I see it at 38 and 66, but also at 46 Avenue North and 66th Street. The same thing, because that's where I live up there off of 46 Avenue North. And I've seen that same thing occur. The camera light goes off, and there's nobody in any lanes moving. So I don't know what's going on, but you mentioned, sir, that these cameras are set up according to what the speed limit is. And I don't think that people are aware of that, because if people are informed that, you know, it's supposed to be a 6 minutes before it goes from amber to red, and they're thinking they have 6 minutes to get through that red light, then what are they doing? Soon they're getting a ticket in the mail for $158. In our area where we live, there's a lot of seniors, a lot of, you know, disability, a lot of Social Security people, and, you know, I could see if it was started out as a $35 ticket, but to walk people with a $158 ticket that, you know, are persons that are, you know, maybe if they're not even like me on disability, but they're on, you know, Social Security income, you know, we can't afford that kind of money. And I'm not speaking just for me, but I'm speaking for people that are on Social Security income, you know, and people like me, you know, I don't get that much of an income. And, you know, I simply cannot afford $158, and I don't agree that I'm wrong, because that particular one, when we timed it, was a 3 second. So what is the one?
Is your stopwatch state certified? Is it calibrated? And do you have a certificate saying it is? Then we cannot use that in a hearing because it's not certified.
Okay. What is the second?
Hold on a second. I think I can clear it. Can the city tell me in this instance how long the light was amber?
That was my question I was going to ask also.
4.8 seconds.
During this instance you were watching?
During this particular one, yes.
Do you have any other testimony, or actually, do you have any other questions for the city, Ms. Wayland?
No, that was the one I was going to ask you. It was, what was the number of minutes that you had that, you know, set up for because of the speed limit there? What do you have that calibrated for that camera?
4.8 seconds.
Ms. Wayland, do you have any other testimony or evidence you'd like to present?
No, just that I don't think it's a deserved ticket for me, and, you know, I'm a very safe driver. And I've never gone through a red light. I would never go through a red light. I ended up with too many bodily injuries now because somebody totaled me and basically totaled my car and basically totaled me with the medical conditions I have now from an accident in '92. So I'm a very safe driver, and I don't think that, you know, I deserve this, and I'm not crying because I want any pity. Please don't misunderstand me. But right now I've got so many I've got 34 medical conditions, and so many of them are because that was '92, and I had a bad lawyer who didn't look out for my future medical. So now I have so many things with my spine and everything else that, had he looked out for my future medical, we wouldn't have settled out of court. I would have held out and waited to go to court for my, you know, hearing and to have a settlement. But, you know, I just don't feel like this is deserved that I got this, because it was either I could get rear-ended again by the vehicle behind me, which was that white van that pulled up, or I could have done what I did, which when I looked at the light, it was amber. I looked in my rear view mirror behind me, and the guy was coming up pretty fast behind me. Did you give him a ticket?
No, ma'am, he stopped.
Well, I know he stopped. I meant, did you give the car in front of me a ticket? He went through an amber light, obviously.
He went through an amber light.
He did go through an amber light, so he didn't get a ticket.
Yeah, he went through the intersection on a yellow light. That's not what we're arguing here today. We're here discussing your side.
Okay. But, you know, it was either I look in the rearview mirror, I see somebody coming up behind me. I don't know whether he's going to stop in time and hit me if I choose to stop, or I choose to go because when I look in the mirror, it is amber. I look at the light, it is amber. I look in my rearview mirror and I see somebody coming up quickly behind me. Am I going to get hit in the rear end by him, or take the chance and go through what I thought was an amber light when I looked before I looked in the rearview mirror to see him coming?
I understand, Ms. Wayland. Do you have any other evidence or testimony you'd like me to hear before I make my ruling?
Do I have any evidence, what, Judge?
Any other evidence or testimony that you want me to hear?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I just don't think it's a deserved ticket. And if I do something wrong and I deserve it, I'll be the first person to say, you're right, I deserve it, and I'll take care of paying it. But I do feel that $158 should be lowered. I think it's an awful high ticket for people, especially when St. Petersburg is the universal, and geriatric retirement capital, in Florida. And, the elderly people can't afford that either. Retirement people with Social Security, they can't afford it either. And I just think it's outrageous to have a ticket that much. That's just, it's craziness to have a ticket, get $158 for this. And it's been determined that it has not saved accidents by having this camera. That's been determined that it has not helped to save accidents by having these camera lights.
I understand. Thank you, Ms. Whalen.
You're welcome.
Based on the evidence presented, I am going to uphold the violation. I'm going to order the petitioner to pay the statutory penalty required by statute of $158 and the administrative cost of $100. Ma'am, do you need time to pay?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do you need time to pay?
Yes, I do. I don't know if you offer anything. I have a lot of physical disability problems, so I don't know if you offer any community service type things.
By statute, I'm not allowed to, but I can give you 90 days to pay, and that's the maximum I can give you.
Okay.
And you have 90 days to pay. You'll receive notice of the payment with the final order in the mail.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Can I say something?
Well, he must be my witness now.
I just have a question.
Go
On
ahead.
these red light cameras, because I got one at the same signal, and I went through it, and it was amber, and the same situation happened to me. I went ahead and paid it. But the thing is, I've sat at that signal, and with a car coming up behind you like that, 4 seconds is nowhere near enough time for somebody that's our ages to react. It's a proven fact that the state even knows that those are targeted. They're trying to outlaw them because it's just not right to target these people. Those signals are areas of retired people. They're not in downtown. They're not in places where a lot of rich people live because they're targeting the poor people.
And sir, I can't answer any questions, obviously. I'm not here to answer questions. I'm just here to have the hearings.
When I went up to the court for mine,
Well, you should be directing it toward that gentleman.
so
here
I just,
as
you know,
a
it's
witness.
just.
We're going to go ahead and move on to the next,
Okay, I'm
next
sorry.
case.
Are we
Thank you,
done?
sir.
Yeah,
Are we
we're
done?
Delta, Adderley, Henry.
Sorry. Denelta Adderley Henry.
Yes.
This incident occurred 12/30/2013 at 2:02 p.m. Amber light's been in the yellow phase for 4 seconds. Defendant speeds 18 miles per hour, and it's been the red light phase for 0.2 of a second. Shows the defendant here behind the stop arm, the light being red. This is the B shot showing the defendant making a right-hand turn with the light still red. And this picture right here, you can see where the vehicle is failing to stop, allowing the vehicle here to go to the intersection. This is a tag shot is taken from the A-frame. It's been registered to the defendant via David. And the video. Vehicle attempts, makes no attempts to stop and allow the vehicle to make a left-hand turn to properly get out of the intersection. The light is red right there, and he just continues to make a right-hand turn.
Is the issue that I didn't stop completely? Is that, because it's right turn on red allowed there?
Only if you come to a complete stop.
No,
on
12
red.
miles an hour.
Under 12 miles an hour?
Yeah, what's complete?
It's actually careful and prudent manner. That's the
I
standard. So
thought-
it's whether or not this is in a careful and prudent manner.
I thought I did decelerate enough and looked.
You applied your brakes, but you never came to a stop.
Can the city show me the, is it called the A-frame, I think it is, where it shows me the speed?
Was that just not slow enough?
You were coming in at 18 miles per hour, you applied your brakes, but you still.
Right, so I would have been less than 18 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Do we know exactly how low I was when I made the turn?
Well, based on my experience, you were going faster than 12 miles per hour.
But we don't know. But I was decelerating, my brakes are on.
You were applying your
I'm
brakes.
just going to ask you just to stop for a second.
Sure.
Let's let him finish
Okay.
his presentation.
Sure.
You'll have an opportunity to cross-examine him, but let's let the city continue
Okay.
finishing their presentation first.
Okay.
Sir, as you're coming up to the intersection on a red light, per Florida State statute, you must come to a complete stop. Then you can make a right-hand turn. This instance here, it shows you coming in at 18 miles per hour. You are applying your brakes, and based on a judgment by Judge Overton of Pinellas County Traffic Division, he ruled anything over 12 miles per hour is not safe for cruising. In this case here, you actually did apply your brakes, but you continue making a right-hand turn under red light, while this vehicle here has all the right-of-way to clear that intersection. So you interfered with that vehicle.
I didn't interfere. Well, okay. He didn't have to hit his brakes.
Let's let him finish his presentation, then you can
Sure.
cross-examine him, okay?
That's all I have.
Would you like to move all the photographic and video evidence into evidence?
Yes.
Okay. Now you can ask him questions.
I thought I did slow enough to make that right-hand turn and did not impede that guy taking a left, turning left, so.
I believe that based on my testimony, you were going faster than 12 miles per hour. And
But we
yes,
don't
you
know
should have-
for sure.
You should have yielded that vehicle.
But my brakes were on, but we don't know exactly the speed limit I was going.
When you came in at 18, I can say that.
When my
You were
brakes
going
are
faster
applied
than
right
12.
there, it's 18. But definitely I'm slowing down at that point.
Right.
But we don't know exactly how slow I was going.
You're going faster than 12 miles per hour, based on my experience as an officer.
I thought I had enough time to go. I didn't think I had impeded anybody, so that's my defense.
Hey, I got a
Okay, do you have
suggestion
any
for
other
you.
evidence?
I have a suggestion for you.
Your Honor, can I please say something? This gentleman here has given the defendant's testimony or advice on what to say. Is that allowable?
I didn't take it.
No, you can ask, anybody can help you that you could call on. I videotaped and filmed that intersection. If you want my help, I'll help you.
Do you have any evidence or testimony you'd like to present on your behalf?
I thought I had gone slow enough. If there's no proof that I was or was not going slow enough, I don't know if their ticket should be issued.
Is there anything else you'd like me to consider?
I did not impede the other driver as he implied.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shook, right?
Check.
Based on the evidence presented, I am going to uphold the violation. I'm going to find that it was not done in a careful and prudent manner. I'm going to order the petitioner to pay the statutory penalty of $158 and the administrative cost of $100. Sir, do you need time to pay?
No.
Okay, you can have 30 days to pay. You'll receive a copy of instructions on how to pay within the final order.
Okay, so we get something in the mail?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you do. You'll have 30 days to appeal this order.
Okay.
Thank you. Can you call the next case, please?
Kevin Beck.
And Your Honor, I guess that's proper.
No.
I stipulate that this is in fact my vehicle, so that's not necessary.
Okay. They're still going to go through the
Sure.
same things. Go ahead, Sadie.
Yeah, this incident occurred January 22nd, 2014 at 12:45 p.m. Amber light's been yellow for 4 seconds. Defendant speed 14 miles per hour, and it's been the red light phase for half a second. In this photo here, the A-frame shows the light red, and it's behind the stop bar at the time of the incident. This is the B-frame, time's been adjusted accordingly, and it's making a left-hand turn. Red. This is the take shot that's taken from the A-frame. It is registered to the defendant via David. And the video. The light's yellow, red, and the next is left-hand turn. You see he's clearly behind the stop bar with the light red. That is it?
Would you like to enter the photographic and video evidence of evidence?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you have any cross-examination from the city?
I do, if I may.
Sure.
Sir, that particular light, in order to operate this camera, this red light camera, are there specific guidelines and controls that must necessarily be in place for that red light camera to be legally usable, legally relevant?
We have 2 bucks that are certified and tested every night.
In fact, I'm sorry. This particular light has been identified both by the city and by the city council as one of those lights which in fact the standards that were to have been put in place were in fact not present. Is that not correct?
That was way back then, and since then it's all been corrected.
Well, in fact, that did apply on January 22nd, and the corrections that were made were done after January 22nd, were they not?
To the best of my ability, everything was up to state standards. We just extended the yellow lights a couple of seconds, or a couple tenths of a second.
Have you been present or made aware of the city council's discussions and conversations regarding specific concerns that they have regarding the red lights and whether or not they are in fact properly calculated?
Never attended a hearing, sir.
Have you read news articles wherein city council members have in fact been questioned and have questioned this particular light?
No, sir.
Were you present at the city council's studies, workshops,
No, sir.
where in fact they have discussed this particular light?
No.
Would you acknowledge that in fact if a city council member has made a comment that he is aware that this particular light at 1st Ave South and 34th Street was not properly calculated on January 22nd, 2014, that would be a statement against interest by the city council member?
I have no knowledge of that.
Your Honor, I'd like to present to you the St. Pete Times article that was published on March 4th, 2014, where city council member Wengay Newton describes having attended a workshop and discusses this specific light that has been the topic of the workshop as not having been properly calculated at the time, and that those times in fact included January 22nd, 2014.
Although the rules of evidence don't actually apply to these hearings, and there's hearsay, who knows what this is, I'm happy to look at it, and we'll take it into evidence also. Just give me a minute to read it.
Okay. I'd like to ask some additional questions, if I may, if for no other reason for my own understanding.
Sure.
When the council is told that certain lights are not properly calculated throughout the city, what is that in reference to?
Can you repeat that?
Yes. When the city council is told,
I'm not sure if he's,
Okay, I'm not-
you might want to ask a question that he's going to be able to answer, not what the city
Yeah, I was
council
gonna say, I
does.
don't think
Well,
I
I-
answered that question.
okay, well, I asked the question earlier whether or not there were issues regarding this light and whether it was properly calculated on January 22nd of 2014, correct?
Yes, you did.
And you gave your opinion that while there had been issues with certain lights, that they had all been updated, everything had been corrected.
Yes, and I got proof of that on your case alone.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. What are the, since you testified that the calculations that had been erroneous were in fact corrected, what are those calculations that were in fact false?
So everything at the time that this came out in the newspaper and on TV that you've been reading, we've been up to state standards on all of our yellow lights. We actually went ahead and added a couple extra tenths of seconds for everybody.
But my question is, what were the calculations? Was it the period of time that the light was yellow? Was it the...
They extended the yellow light.
Because in fact the yellow light was to have been how long?
That's all based on each intersection and speed.
Okay, in this intersection, what was the proper period of time that that light was to have been yellow?
At the time of your violation, this light was corrected on 9/30/2013.
What
Your
was the,
violation occurred 1/22/14, so this light's been corrected.
what was the period of time that the yellow light was to have been active, or the amber light at that particular intersection?
That's not my part of the job, so I can't answer that.
Can you answer how long his light was actually amber during this actual incident?
4 seconds, which is up to state standards, and I got proof of that if you'd like to see it.
Okay.
Well, what are the state standards?
It's like a half a second for every speed limit, or for every miles per hour.
And what is the speed limit at that
This
particular?
one's 35.
So if it's a half a second for every mile an hour, which is that would not be correct, half second maybe for every 5 miles an hour, that would still be, oh, for every mile an hour, it would require a 35-second delay, correct?
Again, that's not my field to be testifying on.
But you are testifying to
I
that.
can testify, sir, on certain things.
I think he's testified that the red light or the amber light at that intersection meets the state standard. How the state standard's calculated, he's saying he cannot testify to that. I think that's the answer to the question, if I'm not mistaken.
Then I would object to him being allowed to give that opinion at all if he does not have a basis to give that opinion because he's not familiar with it.
Noted.
Okay. In fact, do you even control, does the city of St. Petersburg control these cameras?
ATS has, American Traffic Solution.
And so ATS is in fact a private corporation that's located in Arizona.
Yes.
And the city of St. Petersburg has absolutely no control over this and has, and your familiarity with their features and their functions would necessarily be hearsay, would they not?
They send us video and we review them to see if it's a violation or not.
Is there also a requirement that the individual who is being cited be offered an opportunity to actually view the camera evidence?
Yes, it is.
And what happens if that evidence or if that video is not available or is not able to be opened by the individual who's been cited?
You can always go to somebody that does have a computer that will open it up. You go to a library.
Sir, I've
You
got,
can even call the police department. We'd be more than glad to invite you down and show you a video.
I'm happy to also, I have my laptop with me that I attempted to open this video on as recently as today, and I see nothing. As a result of that, would you not agree that having been cited and having proper notice of the nature of the offense is limited if, in fact, in this case, non-existent?
No, sir. You have every opportunity of actually reviewing that. And if there's any questions, you do have the right to give us a call and we could review, show you that video.
Don't you have an affirmative obligation to make that video available?
Doing
I
right
think
now.
he's saying that he's made it available and it's available at the police department at any time if you weren't able to view it on your own. I think he said that a couple times.
Yes.
And where is the notice that that video is available at the police station? Where is that made known to the driver?
Well, if you read back to the citation, usually it's there, or if you have any kind of system, you could
We
always
don't.
call the police department.
But you don't get a citation on a red light citation. You get a notice of the offense with no citation, correct?
You get a notice of violation.
Right. Something that looks like this. And do you know whether this in fact advises the individual of the opportunity to view that video if in fact it's not available, it doesn't work through ATS's systems?
And then again, if it does, again, like I said before, you do have the right to call the police department, or you go to another computer where you can review it.
And again, where is that notice provided?
That would be something you would have to follow through.
Except that I am, as you described, the defendant. And as such, I am the one that's entitled to the information, am I not?
Yeah, and you get that on a computer.
And if I showed you my computer now that indicated that it's not available on my computer, would that not reflect a situation where all information and all?
And as again, like I said, on several occasions, you have the right to call the police department and,
And sir, I think I understand this line of argument. If you have any other evidence or testimony or argument you'd like to make.
One other thing, is there any recognition by the city of St. Petersburg in your red light camera program regarding the potential for a lack of visibility, particularly where it involves city vehicles that will necessarily block the view of the light, thereby limiting the driver's ability to experience that 4 seconds, as you described, to make the proper stop?
I don't quite understand your question.
Well, if we go back to the video, you'll see a city bus directly in front of me, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And the purpose of the 4 seconds is to give the driver notice of the fact that the light is about to turn red.
Correct.
In this instance, there was less than a half a second between the time that the light turned red and I entered the intersection.
And if you fail to see that yellow light because you're following too closely, that might be one of the reasons why you ran a red light. I understand what you're talking about. You're talking about the height blocking the yellow light, which means if you can't see that traffic light, that tells me that you're following too closely.
And
which again is not careful in the prudent manner.
have you reviewed the video, determined whether I was too close and moving in a careful, prudent manner?
Based on your own statements, you said you couldn't see the yellow light.
No, I asked whether there was any policy.
The policy is you have to maintain a safe distance where you can go through that intersection safely.
That's fine.
Mr. Beck, do you have any other evidence or testimony you'd like to give?
I would simply argue that in this particular instance, we have acknowledgments by the city of St. Petersburg and its officials that this light was not properly calculated at the time that the citation was issued, that as the individual who's being charged, I should have proper not only notice but also all information available to me, and I know, and I don't think there's any question that there are difficulties sometimes for individuals to open these videos and to actually observe what occurred, which I would testify and did testify occurred in this particular instance. I think all things considered, the city's burden can't be met. There is a clear issue regarding the viability and the calculations at that light as acknowledged by city officers and city officials. And as such, I want to preserve my objection to any citations that are issued by that particular red light camera at that particular time so that it can be properly reviewed.
Thank you, sir. Based on the evidence that was presented today in the video and the totality of the circumstances, I am going to uphold the violation. I'm going to order the petitioner to pay the statutory penalty of $158 and the administrative cost of $100. Sir, do you need time to pay the fine? Okay. You'll still have 30 days to pay, and there will be instructions in the order that will be mailed to you on how to pay the fine. And you do have 30 days to fulfill this order. Thank you, sir. Can we call the next case, please?
Stephen Callaghan, Danielle Vernon.
Callahan? Okay. And Danielle, you're here on behalf of Stephen Callahan?
I am here because I was the driver of the car during that violation. He's just the owner. I submitted the testimony and everything.
Okay, hold on just a second, Danielle. So we're here on Stephen Callahan. I'm sure you know.
Yes, I do.
Okay. You can go ahead and proceed.
My name is Gary Lawson. I'm a traffic infraction officer for the St. Petersburg Police Department. And this incident occurred February 20th, 2014, approximately 7:41 a.m. Amber light at 1.5 seconds. Speed approximately 16 miles an hour, and there'd been a red phase for 3.3 seconds. And this is the vehicle in question right here. This is the beat shot. Time has been adjusted accordingly. And as you can see, the vehicle was making its right-hand turn, came in 4th Street there, so completed the turn is out of the photo. This is the tag shot, and it's been checked through Department of Motor Vehicles and is registered to Stephen Callahan. It'll move through it again in just a second.
Can I see that video one more time, please?
Certainly.
The rolling stop and went through the red light.
Anything else from the city?
No, we just asked that the video and documentation be entered into evidence.
Thank you. And
Danielle
how do you pronounce your last name?
Vernon?
Oh, that's not what I have written down here, so okay, I'm sorry, Miss Vernon.
Yes. My only problem with this ticket, my only argument against this is that I received a traffic violation and all I could see were pictures on this ticket. And in the pictures, the only thing I thought I would have done wrong maybe is there's a sign that turns on that says no right turn on red. And then you're supposed to stop and not make the right turn. You can even see in the picture, in the video, that sign is not on. I slowed down, there were no cars coming, so I didn't inhibit anybody in their driving, and I made a legal right turn at a red light. And trying to view the video online, as someone else argued already, I was told I had to download all these types of shockwave flash players. I have a brand new Acer laptop, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Tried downloading this program to view the video, could not view the video.
Ms. Vernon, I'm going to stop you just because I'm going to dismiss the violation. I'm going to find that was done in a careful and prudent manner.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's it. You don't have to take care of anything else. Thank you. You can go ahead and call the next one.
Donna. Galucci? Donna?
Demucci?
Demucci, yes.
Ms. Demucci?
My name is Gary Lawson. I'm a traffic infraction officer for the St. Petersburg Police Department. Since it occurred February 15th, 2014, at approximately 1:22 a.m., amber had been in effect for 4.0 seconds, speed approximately 51 miles per hour. Light had been the red phase for 0.3 of a second. This is the vehicle in question in lane number 2, behind the stop bar, and the light is red. This occurred at 22nd Avenue and 4th Street, and the vehicle is northbound. This is the beat shot. Time has been adjusted accordingly. The vehicle is out into the intersection here. Light is still red. Here's our tag shot taken from the A-frame. It has been run through David and it's come back registered to Ave N. So that, and the speed's 51 miles per hour into 45 mile an hour zone there.
Is the city going to get rid of this?
No, we just ask that the video and documentation be entered into evidence, please.
Thank you. And Ms. Demucci, do you have any cross-examination or questions for the city?
Well, I just wanted to state, I believe this is my second red light ticket at this light. The light does change. It changes from green to yellow and red very quickly. Doesn't even give you time to get through the light before it turns red. And as you can see in the video, yes, I was going 5 miles over the speed limit, but I'm actually the daughter of a retired police officer. And ever since I had gotten my license at 17, you know, I've been, it's been drilled in my head to you know, just to be cautious and to do the right thing. And I really do not think I was actually blowing that light. And if you watch the video, as I was driving, and then as I got right to that line, that's when the light turned red. And there was no way I could have stopped. I mean, because I would have caused a pileup behind me. If you play the video again, you'll see as I got to that line to go, you know, to continue to go through the light, that's when the light turned red. So the light wasn't already red, and I flew through it. It was yellow, and it turned red as I got to the line to go through the intersection. So, I mean, I really don't want to pay this red light camera a second time. I just think it's not fair. The lights change very quick.
How long was the light amber in this incident?
4.0 seconds, and I didn't see in the video any vehicles coming up behind her at 51 miles an hour.
Well, at that point, I'm not looking in my mirror behind me to see who's behind me. I'm driving. I mean, I'm sure if I would have stopped short, I mean, someone would have been, you know, coming up behind me.
Can we watch the video one more time, please?
Hold on, I moved them around.
I mean, like,
I've stopped the light, when the turn stopped, excuse me, the video, as the light turned red, it's clearly red.
yeah, and I'm right at that line. There's no way I could have stopped short.
Can I finish, please? The vehicle is behind the stop bar. You had the additional 4 seconds of yellow light to prepare for it, and going above the speed limit, certainly not going to be able to stop at that
The
point.
yellow light was all like 4 seconds. It changes so quick. it doesn't give the driver enough time.
Well, not when you're over 6 miles over the speed limit, man, it does not. The yellow light is giving you time to make preparations to stop.
Play the rest of, or the last half of the video.
Like I said, I don't see anything coming up behind her.
Right, but that's not what I'm thinking at that moment. You know, I'm not worried about the people, you know, I'm concerned with what's in front of me.
Ms. Schmiege, do you have any other evidence or testimony you'd like
No.
to present?
No, you don't.
At this time, I am going to, based on the evidence presented, I'm going to uphold the violation. I'm going to order the petitioner to pay the statutory penalty of $158 and the administrative cost of $100. Do you need time to pay, ma'am?
I do, can I have 90 days?
Yes, you absolutely
Okay,
can.
thank
And
you.
there will be information on how to pay included with the order you'll receive.
Okay, thank you.
You have 30
Thanks
days
for your
to
time.
appeal. Thank you.
Daniel Vilmer.
Your Honor, can I request the gentleman to point his camera away and turn it off?
He's asking you not to videotape him.
Yeah, I'll turn it off if you like. Or you just don't want your face shown?
I don't want to be shown at all. I don't want to be videotaped.
You're in a public hearing and the clerk's recording, but I
That's
won't.
an audio.
Ms. Lee, can you explain?
Again, my name is Gary Lawson. I'm a traffic infraction officer with the St. Petersburg Police Department. This incident occurred on 22nd Avenue and 4th Street North. The vehicle was northbound, and it occurred on February the 3rd, 2014, at approximately 5:38 p.m. Amber had been in effect for 4 seconds. The speed was approximately 33 miles per hour. Been in the red phase for 0.4 of a second. And this is Ms. Harrison's vehicle in lane number 2, right here. Vehicle is behind the stop bar, and the light is red. This is a B shot, time's been adjusted accordingly, and as you can see, Ms. Harrison's vehicle is out into the intersection, light is still red. Here's a tag shot, and a check through data shows that it is registered to Ms. Harrison. As you can see, there's also a vehicle that was preparing to make a left-hand turn to clear the intersection when Ms. Harrison goes through. And I have nothing further but to ask that the video and documentation be exhibit evidence.
Thank you. Ms. Harrison, do you have any questions for the
I didn't
city?
see my car.
Can you show her which vehicle you're talking about?
That sure can. Sorry. Right here, ma'am?
That's me.
That's what, yeah, it's according to the tag and then check the Department of Motor Vehicles, it says insured vehicle.
You want to show the video one more time now that she knows where she's,
Sure.
where to look?
Okay, that's center lane there,
Yeah.
following this vehicle here. It appears that you actually start slowing it to make sure that vehicle doesn't go ahead and turn left to clear the intersection in front of you.
Ms. Harrison, do you have any other questions for the city?
I don't understand any of that. Because I'll tell you, in 2001, I had a brain aneurysm. Given a 2% chance of making it, my husband came home, he found me on the floor. Make a long story short, I'm doing great. But I died 3 times, and I don't understand any of that.
You don't understand what you,
I don't understand what I did. I know the light turned yellow, but I had to go, so I just made the turn.
okay, I don't think you're not a vehicle turning. You understand that. You're a vehicle going through the intersection. You're not the vehicle turning.
But if that's where I think it is, I was coming home from the hospital, my husband was in the hospital, and I was coming home from the hospital, and I was going up 22nd Avenue, that's where I would go, and then turn left on 4th Street. So I don't even know where I am in there.
Okay, let's watch this one more time.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm really sorry.
No, you're fine. I want to make sure that we're watching the same video. And you might want to stop it right before the red light so we can show her vehicle.
That's me right there.
That's you right there, man? And I've just stopped the video. The light is red, and you're behind this white painted line here is the stop bar.
Uh-huh.
So if you would have been across this, you know, even maybe the back end of your vehicle had crossed the stop bar, you wouldn't have been given a notice, a violation. This here, you were completely behind the stop bar, the white painted line here, when the light turned red.
Okay.
And what compounds it also that I was saying about the vehicle out here in the intersection, he's already into the intersection when the light turns red. He has to make his left-hand turn and clear the intersection. So the problem is it's red, as you can see up here, and this white bar is where you're supposed to stop, and you are behind it with the light red, and then you go on through.
All right, I'm sorry.
Do you have any other testimony or evidence you want to present now that you can see what they're saying is the violation?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Okay.
I know I did it, but that thing's right, it says I did it, so I did it.
Okay. Ms. Harrison, do you have any other testimony or statements you'd like to make?
No, but I took my driving test 30-some times and passed them all. I shouldn't be driving.
Yes, ma'am. Based on the evidence presented, I am going to uphold the violation. I'm going to order you to pay the statutory penalties. It's $158 and the administrative cost of $100. Do you need time to pay, ma'am?
Oh, yeah.
I can give you 90 days to pay.
Okay.
And with a copy of the final order you'll receive in the mail, there will be instructions.
Okay.
You have 30 days to appeal. Thank
All
you.
right, and I should get the bill in?
Next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, will it come out? It'll within the next 2 weeks, 7 to 10 days is what they're telling me.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Carlton Peoples.
Mr. Peoples?
Hi.
I'm Ed Lovelace, St. Pete Police Department Traffic Enforcement Infraction Officer. On 12/4/2013 at 4:33 p.m. The defendant made a violation that we cited him on. The amber light was 4 seconds. The speed's 20 miles per hour, and it's been in the red light phase for 1.3 seconds. Here is the A-frame. The light is red. The defendant is here in this turn lane. He's still behind the stop bar. This is the B shot. Time's been adjusted accordingly. The light is still red. Defendant's making a left-hand turn. This is the tag shot is taken from the A-frame, then run through David, and it is registered to the defendant. And the video. See, the light is red. He's just now coming into the picture frame. Continues by the left-hand turn. Also keep up right in this section, you see these pedestrians actually almost putting their feet into the intersection across, and he fails to yield to them. That was all we had to say. I'd like to put the pictures and video evidence.
Thank you. Do you have any cross-examination or questions for the city?
Well, yes, because basically, all I can say is that when you drive every day, you know, I was going to the gas station, right? And I was getting ready to make a left turn, right? When I looked up, the light was yellow, right? First of all, the people were not in the intersection when I made the turn, okay? When I started to make that left turn, the light was yellow. And I'm not a computer, I'm just a person. And I can't go from, I don't live my life by seconds or quarter seconds or whatever. All I know is that when I looked up, the light was yellow, so I started making a regular, cautious yellow turn, turn on yellow into the intersection to go to the gas station, right? There was no other cars coming. The people were not in the intersection as he stated before I turned. So when I turned, even after I turned, they started stepping in as I had completely turned. So the basic point I want to make is that the light was yellow when I looked up. I started making a left turn, and if it turned red before I got completed through the intersection, I'm sorry, but I just making what I consider a regular turn on caution, you know. I was driving safely. If you look at the tape, there was no cars coming, there was no people in the intersection. I was just making a yellow turn, but I'm not a computer, you know, I'm just human. So from my understanding, when I made that turn, it was a yellow light. There was no cars coming. I made a yellow light. If it turned yellow before I got completely through the red, before I got completely through the intersection, I'm sorry, but you know, I'm not a jet. You know what I mean? My car's not a jet. So.
Are you arguing that it was yellow when you entered the intersection?
I'm arguing that when I was driving on the street, okay, getting ready to make a yellow turn, I looked up, the light was yellow. I don't know how long it was yellow. I know it was yellow. I started like a normal person does, making my turn. All I'm saying is that they kept saying that it was red before I was like. When I looked at that, when I looked at the videotape and I looked at the my car behind the line, it's like they freeze it there for when they take the shots. They take the shots that they want. But when I looked at the videotape, I could see my car speeding up to make the left turn, and I'm imagining that when I saw the light when I was driving, it was yellow, and I was going through the intersection thinking it was still yellow, but it turned red before I got completely through the intersection, according to them. So all I'm saying is that if you look at the videotape in motion, you can see my car going, and you can see how, I don't know how many seconds they do that. I don't know if they go from 1 or a quarter per second or whatever, but when I started momentum to go through the yellow light, evidently it turned red before I got through the intersection. So.
Can I watch the video one more time, please?
Sure. You see right here, this is the intersection. The light is yellow right now. The defendant's nowhere in the picture frame. If you move it up, the light is now red. Defendant's still nowhere in the picture frame. And then here he comes. He's way behind the stop bar.
Not, but you're freezing. It started from the regular thing. Because all I'm saying is that when I was in the left turn, I looked up, it was yellow. I started going through the intersection. So I'm saying is that if you're gonna freeze it as you go, you can find any place where it's yellow. All I'm saying is that when I go
watch this, sir.
Let's just watch it straight through without stopping it.
And I'm
red, and you know we're inside of the picture frame.
Right, and then what I'm saying from my perspective, I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm not trying to be arguing. All I'm trying to say is that when I was in the left lane and you're getting ready to make a left turn and you see the light yellow, you speed up to get through the light, right? So if I knowing how I drive, if I'm getting ready to make a yellow turn, first I looked to see if there's anybody in the intersection or any cars. There was no cars coming, so when it was yellow, I was going to make the yellow light. I don't know if the light had just turned yellow, had been yellow for 2 seconds or not. All I know is that it was yellow when I looked up, and I'm looking to see who's in front of me, and I'm going through the intersection. So if it turned red before I got through, all I can say is I'm sorry, but I think it's that I'm not a computer. I can't do things like second by second. You know, all I know is that when I looked up, the light was yellow. I saw nobody in the intersection. I made the turn, and it turned red on me. So.
Do you have any other evidence or testimony you'd like to present, sir?
No, but I don't know if these red light cameras are going to continue, but I think it's a little bit of a, I don't mean to be disrespectful, of a scam, you know, because most people don't, you know, we're regular human beings, we live our lives every day, and I think that, you know, for them to time us on microseconds is kind of unfair. And I am a poor person, so I think I'm going to need time if I get the ticket.
Well, let's get to that. And based on the evidence presented, I am going to uphold the violation. I'm going to order you to pay the statutory penalty of $158, the administrative cost of $100, and I will give you the 90 days to pay. And there will be instructions on how to pay with your final order that you'll receive in the mail.
Okay, I don't know why I was nervous. I guess being on TV, I'm a star.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Mary Roches. I'm sorry if I...
That's okay.
Is it Miss Roche?
Yours sounds prettier. It's actually Roche.
Oh, it is Roche? Okay. I wasn't sure the E on the end threw me off. Okay. City can...
This incident occurred January 18th, 2014, approximately 7:06 p.m. Defendant added yellow light for 4 seconds and the speed approximately 60 miles per hour. Spin the red light phase for 0.7 of a second. Just set it here behind the stop bar with the light being red. This is the B shot, time has been adjusted accordingly. The light is still red, and it's almost clear across on the other side of the intersection. This is the tag shot, it's taken from the A-frame. The tag is registered to the defendant via David. And the video. You also see that she failed to yield to the vehicle making a left-hand turn as well. Showing the light yellow. Just red. And the light that is red there, and the defendant's well behind the stop bar. She continues through.
Do you have any other evidence or testimony you'd like to present today?
No, ma'am, just submit the photos and the video and evidence.
Thank you. And ma'am, do you have any questions or cross-examination for the city?
I do, thanks. Actually, all I'm challenging is, and I'm realizing as I've been sitting here for a while, that that's not something that can be resolved here, it seems like. So I don't know if I need to create a formal objection, but I'm just challenging the formula that's being used to determine the legitimacy of time that's allowed to calculate from yellow to red. I have two articles that I don't know if I can present in evidence, but sure. Misapplied physics and the international standards that set yellow light durations forces drivers to run red lights by Brian Cesarelli and Joseph Shovlin, and Uncertainty in the Yellow Change Interval by Brian Cesarelli. That's all I have.
And then there's no way I'm reading them.
I understand. I didn't necessarily expect you to do so. I wasn't quite sure how this would run today.
Well, and for the record, the first article is 18 type pages long, and the second article is 10 type pages long. I don't have the time to read them. Do you want to tell me in your argument? We will put them in evidence.
And I will tell you, this is an article, even if you read it, unless you're a physics major, which I'm not. It's obviously written by folks much smarter than I, and it's literally just based on the calculation and the fact that when physics are applied and you're dealing with, which I think some other folks were trying to say, maybe not so eloquently, as far as being able to react in time and whatever, just that the formula that is used to calculate is what I'm questioning and objecting to.
The formula used to calculate the length of the amber?
The length of the amber, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any other argument or evidence you want to present?
I do not.
No. Do you have any
Just at the time of the violation, we have evidence saying that the yellow light pattern has been adjusted way before this violation.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's an argument much higher than here,
Yes,
unfortunately.
Based on the evidence presented, I am going to uphold the violation. I'm going to order the petitioner to pay the statutory penalty of $158 and administrative cost of $100. Do you need time to pay?
No, I'm good.
You still have 30 days to pay. It will be, of course, included in your final order, and you have 30 days to pay. Thank you.
Francis Flanagan.
Mr. Flanagan? Whenever you're ready.
This is the A shot, Your Honor. The incident occurred 2/15/2014 at 12:31 a.m. The defendant had a yellow light at 4 seconds and speeds 21 miles per hour. The defendant at this time had a red light time of 1 second. Light is red and it's behind the stop bar. This is the B shot. Time has been adjusted accordingly. The light is still red. The defendant's out in the middle of the intersection. This is the take shot. It's taken from the A-frame. It's been run through David, and it is registered to the defendant. In the video. The light is red, which is coming out of the gas station right here. Continues through the intersection on a red light. And you can see she makes no attempt to, he makes no attempt to apply his brakes.
Does the city have any other evidence or testimony to present?
No, we don't, we just want to put the photos and the video and evidence.
Thank you. Do you have any questions or cross-examination for the city, sir?
No, I just wanted to state how it happened to me. It was a very odd situation. I had never been to, it was a Raleigh gas station. I had never been in there before. But I'm actually surprised how good the film is. The entrance or the exit to that place is like a car length and a half of my car. And there was a car coming. So I looked to my right, the light was green. I looked to my left, there was a car coming. I looked back to check, it was still green. When the car went by, I pulled out, and when I looked up, it was red. And I was so close and accelerating, I had the option to hit the brakes or go through it. I mean, it was literally that quick. I waited for that car to go by, and then I pulled out, and it was like boom, boom, boom. Like the whole thing took 4 seconds. And like I said, I was in acceleration mode from pulling out, not in a slowing fashion, but you can tell I just took off from right there. So as quickly as I'm saying, I looked right, looked, there was a car coming, looked back, it was green, waited for the car, accelerated out from the gas station, and looked up, and it was, I mean, I'm not saying I didn't run it. It was me, I ran it. But I couldn't think of another way I could have done it without basically skidding or hitting the brakes extremely hard. And from an acceleration, not a steady pace, if you know what I mean. That's not a street I'm pulling out of, it's literally a gas station.
Okay, do you have any other argument or evidence that you'd like to present
I do not.
today? Okay. Based on the evidence presented, I am going to uphold the violation. I'm going to order you to pay the statutory penalty of $158 and the administrative cost of $100. Do you need time to pay, sir?
No.
Okay. You have 30 days to pay then. You'll receive instructions with your final order, and you have 30 days to fulfill the order.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Nicholas Filson.
Okay, we're going to just, I know you're the last one, we're going to take a recess for just 2 minutes. We'll be right back.
That's good. You got time to go over your kids.
You got it.
Oh, well, they measured the speed about 20 feet before the line. And he was, what, clocked at 16?
It was 18.
18, so he can go up to 12 legally. And the other judge started throwing them out last month, even up to higher than that, so they never talk about it. But, I mean, because they don't measure either at the line. In fact, the speed posted is not for giving drivers citations. The device is to time when to take a picture of the back of the car. They're just using it to basically screw people by guesstimating. So there's one hockey puck about 20 feet up the road, and another one 6 feet up the road. They take your average speed. So if you're coming at 35 here, slowing down, we see amber, and so on. So.
Okay, we're going to go back on the record, and we have already called the next case, I believe. I'm sorry, what was the name? Filson, Mr. Filson, yes.
I'll read a second.
All right, I'm Gary Lawson, Action Officer for the St. Petersburg Police Department. And this incident occurred January 18th, 2014, approximately 10:36 p.m. at 22nd Avenue and 4th Street, north, and vehicle was southbound. Amber had been in effect for 4.0 seconds. Speed approximately 36 miles an hour. Had been in the red phase for 0.2 of a second. And this is Mr. Filson's vehicle here in lane number 3. As you can see behind the stop bar, it's kind of dark, but light and red. This is the E-shot. Time has been adjusted accordingly, and the vehicle's out here into the intersection. Light is still red. This is a tag shot. It's taken from the A-frame and it's been run through Department of Motor Vehicles and shows registered to Mr. Filzen. Here's the video. Okay, this is vehicle stopped here behind the bar. Actually, stopped behind the bar, but actually behind the bar as the light turns red. Light is red. The vehicle's behind the stop bar and continuing southbound on 4th Street.
Does the city have any other evidence or testimony?
We just asked that the video and photographs be entered into evidence, please.
Sir, do you have any cross-examination or questions from the city?
Yes, ma'am. What is the approximate margin of error for speed limit based on the measurements that this machine takes?
I do not know what the approximate.
But it's probably within 1 mile per hour, correct?
That would be. I don't. That's something I don't have the knowledge of. To tell you exactly. I mean, it's not something that you're being cited with. You were within the.
I have a reasoning for my question. You mentioned earlier to Ms. Danucci that being over 6 miles per hour faster than the speed limit, of course she had no time to stop with any allotted yellow light. But I'm going what amounts to be exactly the speed limit, given a margin of error. And you did, when you first started speaking, you said that I was going approximately 36 miles per hour.
Yeah,
so
the issue wasn't with the speed.
I understand that, but...
Can I finish? If you want to ask me questions, sir, I'd expect to be able to answer completely.
You gotta let him answer your question.
Sure, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You can testify in a minute. This is when you're asking questions, so you can go ahead.
I'm so sorry.
The situation is not the speed. He was within the speed limit. It was just clearly you went through the red light. When you went through a red light, not a yellow light. It was a red light that showed it backing up, and it wasn't an issue with speed. It was just an issue with not stopping.
So it seems like his answer to Ms. Danucci earlier doesn't apply in this situation where I was going the speed limit, and so what I'm arguing is that I basically was at the exact wrong amount of time from the red light to make a choice to either be just beyond that line or just in front of it, where it was so close that in the first picture it was fairly unclear as to whether or not I was even past it with my front wheels. So what I'm arguing is I feel that I made the right decision for safety. If I would have stopped, I would have been stopping at approximately 9 miles per hour per second. Progressive Auto Insurance believes that 7 miles per hour per second is a hard stop. So where does a human decide? Again, I think the argument earlier by I forget which gentleman it was. He mentioned that as a human, I can't know exactly when my wheels are going to pass, but I made a prudent decision in my opinion to not stop hard and to continue through the light.
Okay,
I'd just like to add, if you have the 4 seconds that it is yellow, that's to be preparing for it. There's people that are not paying attention. I don't know your situation, sir, but there's people out there that we all pass that are texting and talking on their cell phone.
Sure.
I don't know what your intention was at that time. I'm just saying that you ran a red light.
So would you say that you not knowing that is part of the problem with having these lights monitored by computers at all, because they can't tell, they don't know?
Absolutely not. It's as simple as running a red light. When it's red and you're on the wrong side of the stop bar.
Sure. Would you have stopped me as a police officer in this situation?
Yes, I would have.
You would have?
Yes, I would have issued a $264 ticket. Yes, sir.
Interesting. And you would expect the same if somebody were to stop you? That you wouldn't?
Yeah, I'm not above the law. If I run a red light like that, I would get the red light ticket and have to pay it. if I get stopped by an officer, I mean, I get the same chance of it as you do.
Do you think that if I would have stopped hard, that if I would have stopped, it would have been a hard stop in this situation?
Okay.
Given the time limits that I just mentioned, the math is that I would have had to stop 9 miles per hour over each second. Once the yellow light started, now I was going exactly the speed limit.
I think you had time to have adjusted to the light being yellow and have stopped in plenty of time.
Is that, by using the word think, is that hearsay, or is that?
I think that's his testimony.
I mean, that's
I think
my
that's what he's
testimony.
testifying to. Sir, do you have any other argument or evidence you'd like to present?
I would just like to say that I feel that I would make the same decision every single time.
Okay. And based on the evidence presented, I am going to uphold the violation. I'm going to order you to pay the statutory penalty of $158 and administrative cost of $100. Sir, do you need time to pay?
Yes, ma'am, and I will be paying this.
Okay, sure. We have 90 days to pay, and of course you'll be receiving that with your written order in the mail, and you will have 30 days to appeal. Thank you, sir. And one more, I have one more on my list. Mona Dix, was that dismissed?
Yes,
Just, so you're saying,
No, not according to insurance companies.
okay, hold on. So you're saying, because I don't know if we've run that calculation. That seems messed up. So you're saying 35 miles an hour on 4th Street,
So let's schedule her.
and
Can we
you
get her notice for next
get
month?
4 seconds to stop from
Perfect.
same
And then along
to
the
0.
same lines,
That's
there's
a
Christy
considered a hard
Brady,
stop by
just
insurance
for the
regulator.
record. She also had a
Progressive
record
Auto
for
Insurance
consideration. She's in the
believes
military.
that
There's
7 miles per
some
hour
odd
second is a hard
issue.
stop.
I'm completely
If I would have
grateful
stopped
for
at
her
a
So 4
9
seconds,
miles
you
per
could have done
hour.
28 miles an hour
Okay, did you want-
would be a hard stop.
She's already scheduled.
Correct.
Perfect.
28 to 0.
Perfect.
Yes.
And then there's one more person that is not here.